matters is what we have on the inside.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
She talks like she's a one-woman band. That is not hard work. Hard work is get up in the morning, get to 7 o'clock, get into a factory or a shop and working for 10 hours on your feet, coming home knackered. That's not what happens to her.
And still being a mom.
That is
Still
not
being
what
a
happens
mom.
to her.
The Crown just launched its first direct strike at Meghan and Harry's greatest secret. According to explosive insider leaks, King Charles has reportedly authorized the disclosure of Archie's adoption files. That's not a rumor murmured in dark corners. That's a full-scale royal cannon blast, aimed straight at the core of the Sussex storyline. And now the Globe is wondering, was the royal duo deceiving this entire? Period, because if these papers are genuine, if these facts stand firm, then everything shifts: the timeline, the titles, the validity, the succession, and most crucially, the truth.
There's a real delight in being able to be a present parent. And it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work. We all have a lot of stuff to do. But when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning. This also follows all the stories about her bullying staff over here in the UK, which is unresolved. NDAs stopped all that stuff coming out, but she bullied people in a very unpleasant way over here.
She spreads her legs, she hikes her dress, she circles her genitals.
Back of your head. This gruesome twosome only survived by cashing in on what's left of their royal status now. I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags.
The documents supposedly verify a confidential adoption procedure, complete with legal name modifications, parental signature inconsistencies, and most astonishingly surrogacy, hints concealed in official jargon. The revelation stunned everyone off guard, but none more than Meghan and Harry themselves. The audience is clamoring for clarity, and the palace silent, purposefully, eerily silent. Let's explore how this all began and where it might be going. It struck like a lightning bolt. A disclosure from within royal legal networks allegedly confirmed that King Charles approved the opening of private documents linked to Archie's legal custody status. Not birth certificates, not PR spin, but legal line of succession, critical adoption files.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles.
According to expert analysis, the papers highlight discrepancies between Archie's birth certificate and his legal adoption documents. They include signatures by stand-in mentions of an unnamed surrogate representative and a subtle retroactive name change that was approved quietly soon after Archie's arrival. The shocker: one of the documents reportedly names Meghan Markle as an adoptive guardian, not a birth mother. That disclosure alone ignited royal discussions. Was Archie adopted post-birth? Was there ever a standard birth certificate? Did the palace shield them, or were they shielding themselves? Royal analysts say this isn't just unprecedented, it's unimaginable, and yet it's unfolding. But that was only the start before this adoption. Disclosure ever erupted, the red flags were waving loud and clear for those who were paying attention. Archie's passport delay wasn't just a bureaucratic snag. It was a puzzle that sent royal observers into a silent frenzy. Traditionally, royal children, especially those in the direct line of succession, have airtight documentation. Everything from birth announcements to hospital images to travel paperwork is coordinated down to the minute. But with Archie, there was nothing. No photos exiting the hospital, no official travel records, no verification of a passport, even months after his arrival. Instead, the Sussex team deflected with vague justifications, security concerns, desiring privacy, keeping things close-knit. But insiders now claim the reality was far more complex and far more harmful.
Favorite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol, forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done. There's no class in some person who goes sit like this.
This woman is a born manipulator. The Netflix thing, she doesn't do the work. She don't make the jams. It's all made for her.
Press show her wearing pretty much every colour in the rainbow. The show opens with the claim that the royal family declined to comment on the series. That's another lie. Palace says it received one email from an unknown company and attempts to verify it before.
According to several unnamed sources linked to the UK Home Office, when travel approval was sought for Archie, Meghan, and Harry's team, reportedly failed to present an original birth certificate. Instead of a swift resolution, chaos erupted behind closed doors. Royal aides allegedly rushed to find or recreate suitable paperwork. Legal consultants were brought in, drafts were submitted, approvals were expedited, and according to leakers, at least one version of the birth certificate was modified. Retroactively, one significant alteration: Meghan's name. In the initial certificate, her complete legal name was reportedly listed, but a revised edition replaced it with Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. A move some experts say was symbolic, while others now assert it was an intentional legal maneuver to conceal maternity-related inconsistencies. There were even rumors that the certificate had been backdated.
The only thing HRH stands for in association with Meghan Markle is her ruthless homewreckerness.
Zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. That is a title that was stripped from her when she and Harry made their whole racism debacle and left the UK, left their royal duties, and moved to the US to bug all of us.
It's so funny too that you keep saying Meghan Markle, you know I'm Sussex now. Once they did, I remember being told there was a huge headline like, we found him or we've got him. You're talking about someone's father. And from that point, the tabloids, they moved into the apartment next door and across from him.
That signatures didn't align, that a stand-in had been used. These claims were dismissed back then. But with the adoption documents now allegedly public, those inconsistencies suddenly appear less like clerical mistakes and more like carefully planned manipulation. And the timing, it couldn't have been more dubious. The birth certificate saga was buried just days before Harry and Meghan announced they were abandoning royal duties. At the time, it seemed like a strange coincidence. Now it feels like a calculated departure to evade scrutiny. The public wasn't unaware, but now with new context, the pieces are aligning and the internet isn't just observing, it's investigating. Once the alleged adoption papers hit, the rumor mill TikTok shifted from idle scroll zone to royal tribunal, and Meghan Markle was suddenly the accused. Content creators wasted no time. They clipped audio from her podcast, splicing it with dubbed baby Archie voices, mimicking confusion and disappointment. One viral clip showed Meghan discussing parenting while a sarcastic voiceover cut in with, "Who are you talking about? I never met you." Another popular remix asked, "Where's my birth photo, Mom?" Over Meghan's calm discourse about motherhood, it wasn't just sharp, it was brutal. Buckingham Palace has always played the long game, but even for a royal institution known for restraint, this silence was louder than ever. No denial, no explanation, no friendly disclosure to loyal tabloids. Nothing. And in today's media climate, silence screams. At first, commentators assumed the palace was reorganizing, that a response was coming, but as hours turned to days, the quiet began to feel ominous, almost surgical, like a trap had been sprung, and now the royals were watching the prey struggle. Insiders close to the monarchy claimed this disclosure wasn't some rogue act, it wasn't a disgruntled employee or a digital mishap, it was deliberate, strategic, a calculated reply to years of reputational blows from across the Atlantic. They say King Charles had finally had enough. After Oprah, after Spotify, after Netflix, after the memoir, he was done. Playing dignified, he wanted facts, and this reportedly was his answer. No sit-down interviews, no anonymous rebuttals. Just legal documentation quietly unveiled, letting the public connect the dots on their own, because when you fight someone like Meghan Markle, someone who spins narrative with emotion, you don't win by matching fire with fire, you win by blowing out the oxygen. And that's exactly what the palace did. They didn't respond to the TikTok storm, they didn't acknowledge the birth certificate questions, they didn't even blink at the social media mockery. Instead, they stood still and let the internet burn, but not everyone in the royal orbit agreed. Some aides reportedly pleaded with Charles to issue a clarification. They worried the silence looked like complicity, that the monarchy could appear cruel or worse, vindictive. But Charles reportedly refused. His position was clear. He had been dragged for years, accused of racism, blamed for family breakdowns, painted as cold and distant. Now, with one paper, one move, he changed the narrative. He didn't need to speak. The world was speaking for him still, as the public fixated on the monarchy's silence. The real battle wasn't happening in London, it was unfolding in the shadows of the family, where loyalty, legacy, and lineage were being shattered from within. Insiders say the disclosure sent shockwaves through the firm. Senior royals were reportedly briefed in advance, with multiple sources confirming a highly secure meeting led by Charles's advisors, and the mood divided. Some backed Charles's bold move, calling it unnecessary truth bomb. Others warned it could destabilize the monarchy's already fragile global image. Prince William reportedly opposed the disclosure, not out of loyalty to Harry, but to protect the institution. Sources say he told aides, "Once the door opens, there's no closing it." But Charles allegedly refused to back down. Its rationale: the Sussexes had made their careers challenging royal integrity. Now it was time for transparency to work both ways, and caught in the middle, Archie, a child with a royal name, a royal title, and now a royal controversy attached to his birth records. But Meghan and Harry weren't going down quietly. Hours after the story broke, Meghan and Harry's official team allegedly rushed into overdrive. A surge of Instagram posts, a last-minute podcast, release a new Netflix clip, but instead of controlling the narrative, it looked like damage control. Every move they made appeared reactive, desperate. Analysts say Meghan's podcast topics suddenly leaned toward family legacies, motherhood journeys, and parental instincts. Meanwhile, Harry's remarks on privacy came more pointed, less about press ethics, and more about truth management. Even the couple's old friend circle seems to be shrinking. Oprah, silent; Tyler Perry, quiet; Serena Williams, nowhere in sight. Without public allies, the Sussexes appear isolated, trapped in a media war they no longer command. But the final blow might not come from the palace, it may come from the public itself. Surrogacy rumors have long shadowed Meghan's timeline. But now, with the alleged adoption files in the open, these whispers have become full-throated speculation. Commentators, like Lady Colin Campbell, had previously asserted that Archie was born by a surrogate. She even suggested that the palace knew, and worked overtime to help sustain a narrative, and now those claims are gaining momentum again. Legally, if Archie was born to a surrogate and then adopted by Meghan, that changes everything. It means his place in the line of succession could be nullified, his titles could be revoked, his future as a royal figure vanished. Even more troubling, UK law mandates surrogacy be strictly registered with rigorous paperwork. If these forms were sealed, altered, or fast-tracked, legal questions could arise, not just political ones, but constitutional ones. And if Parliament decides to investigate, game over entirely. Public sentiment has shifted. What was once murmured is now shouted across the digital sphere. Everyone isn't just doubting Archie's origin, they're questioning the foundation of the Sussex narrative. Comments across YouTube include, "We didn't get images because there wasn't a baby." "Where's the footage of Meghan exiting the hospital? Why were all the origin details locked down?" Harder than a military mission, the mood is turned. It's clear the audience isn't just observing, they're analyzing, and every new clip Meghan posts, every new interview Harry gives, is now viewed through a filter of skepticism. Even supporters are asking, if there was nothing to hide, why hide it all? 'Cause if this adoption tale holds true and the surrogacy claims prove accurate, then this isn't just a misstep. It's a complete fabrication that reshaped royal history, and if the monarchy finally chooses to rewrite it back, Meghan and Harry, they may not just be exiled, they could be erased. One document, that's all it took to unravel the fairy tale, from adoption claims to vanishing birth records, from social media satire to legal drama. The truth Meghan and Harry built is fracturing under the weight of one question: who is Archie? Not in the emotional sense, not in the symbolic, but in the legal line of succession, bloodline sense. And right now, the answers are murky at best and catastrophic. At worst as it stands, the palace stays silent and the Sussexes scramble. One truth remains. If this is the start of the real story, then everything we thought we knew about the modern monarchy was a mirage. What do you think? Was this all smoke and mirrors from day one? Drop your thoughts below and buckle up, because this storm is just beginning.